Is love a struggle? A riddle? Is it stable or unstable? I explore this in my poem, Raw Forms. From the first smells of wet mud to this heartache, you were the perfect shaft of light that passed through my stained glass window so I could watch the carcass of a fallen rainbow. It is not you alone that caused this misfortune. It takes two distinct kinds to mix and merge to produce something different. People with uncommon atomic arrangements, like tin and copper, nickel and palladium, copper and zinc, to crystallize into bronze, white gold, brass. Take aluminium for example. They say it is soft, malleable, but with another softy, copper, it becomes the hard, strong aluminium alloy. Take acetylene that blends with oxygen to become the hottest burning fuel. Take chocolate with its vanilla and cocoa ingredients, or milk in its tea variants, rain running on diverse mud, land, soil. You get the drift? I don't want you to change. I don't want me to change. But there are gaps in our atomic lattice, sieves large enough through which I fall and bruise. Most things in its raw forms are not stable: diamond, platinum, potassium, gold, sugar, or love. I have tried leaving. I really have. But like a soul not allowed to leave its battered accident body, I'm a molecule pulled back. Our story is not over. So stay with me until we are heated by ennui, melted by its reasons, hardened by the seasons, softened by its perceptions. One day, our lattices shall carry our faith, our patience, our knowing of each other, stronger than our arms ever could. We would meld and weld to form the perfect, imperfect, stable substance. Hi, I'm Rochelle Potkar, poet, author, screenwriter from Mumbai, and I would be sharing many of my poems and stories with you from my book, From My Pen. Love in all its forms. Love so difficult to understand, even after Neruda, even after Rumi. In cities, we aksar have no place to love. But what if love was a place in itself, making place in this very capitalistic world? My next poem is called Citadel. There should have been a citadel of love, a civilization built by a river on the reaping profits of desire, where the bottom line, the ROI, the spring and harvest were just tenderness. Morning hours, the wee hours of noon, the scandalizing hours of sunset, the deep ink night of moon, spent in fondness. From the transient to the forever, the ethereal to the eternal, the game to the gush, the blame to the blush. In this, I would have chosen where to meet you, because it would be scarce of population. Not many would take citizenry here, busy with green notes or cryptocurrency in other places. In the mornings, we would bathe in a stone hammam. No lotuses. They are pretty, yet too distracting. I would read poetry and you make paper boats of them. I would write on water and you would read its ripples in braille. I would write on your wet back new alphabets of an undiscovered language. We would know ancientness before the sun was born, when sand was not grain, but boulders broken by riptides. We would swim, dive and sit at the edges, drenched with nowhere to go, because this would be serious business, gazing into each other's eyes to speak in the crisp notes of silences or the loose change of smiles. The hour hands of our clocks would work fiery breaths in our diaphragms. Like regimen, rigor, ritual, I would hold my wet finger onto your navel, thanking life for its umbilicus of your presence. Our breaths bouncing off skins, our hearts clock towers, watchtowers of time eternal. Say 4 such hours would be considered productive, no? The GDP licking the skies. In the noon, we would sit by the window of scorching sundials, reading prose our grandfathers and grandmothers wrote, of boons and curses, yoke and fatal yo. I would turn and kiss you because each kiss would make the Sensex rise in the stock of other countries, crashing bull and bear markets. Then by dusk, the capital accumulation of our citadel would be at its peak, zero unemployment. With each kiss, nibble, chew, our resources, natural, technological, power and energy would multiply and peak through its economic surplus, mitigating other country debts, gifting bridges and railroads to faraway savannas and icelands. We would keep the wine for the night. Wealth is obscene. If we made love anymore, we would own spaces on Venus, Mars, and the moon. Who would keep track of all of those then? So we would go slow. And when we would have waited enough, we would give in to the reshaping of ourselves, like candle wicks under their tiny flame heads, becoming amoebic, forming and deforming. And in that eternity, the world markets would crash. We would only be able to revive them the next morning with the bullion trade of our gazes and grins. But there should be a citadel like this in a civilization of pure ardor. And this last poem is a light poem from my book called The Last Laugh. What happens after a breakup? Is it really a final goodbye? Last laugh. We thought it would end with the sunset when the waters receded. I thought it would when my cat died suddenly. You thought it would when you didn't get that salary raise. You thought when you still remembered her that way. You thought when I met him the other day. I thought when you didn't call all these days. You when we met next face to face. The moment we shared our last embrace. When we had nothing left to say. When we left our thoughts at the bay. But it outdid us. This thing, it outlived us. It outwitted us. Last laugh. Now it's your turn. Tell me, what would love be for you if it was a place? Are you still hung over your exes? And what is love for you? I'll be waiting to read your comments. Thank you.